What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bryce here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Miami Hurricanes getting the upset on the number 23 team in the country, Texas A&M Aggies. Well, they're no longer ranked anymore because, the U got the upset. And, yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry, man. I had to do it. I had to do it. But seriously though, I do want to give you guys my overall thoughts on this game that did happen this past Saturday. Talk about a little bit of the positives and some negatives that did happen in this game. And a little disclaimer for you guys, I am on the desktop right now. I'm pretty sure you all heard that. You all heard the click of the mouse. I got some team stats in front of me, and I'm going to pull up some individual stats on here as well, and give you guys and gals the lovely stats from ESPN.com. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the video. So we'll start off with Texas A&M. Texas A&M had 25 first downs. Third down efficiency was 8 of 18. Fourth down efficiency was 2 of 3. Total yards was 433. Passing was 336. Yards per pass, 6.3. Interceptions thrown, 2. Rushing was 97. Rushing attempts was 29. Yards per rush, 3.3. Penalties was 7 of 55. Turnovers was 3. Fumbles lost, 1. Interceptions thrown, 2. And time of possession for Texas A&M Aggies was 32 minutes and 17 seconds. For the Miami Hurricanes, 16 first downs, 3 of 9 on third down efficiency, 0 fourth down efficiency. Total yards, 451. Passing, 374. Yards per pass, 12.5. 0 interceptions thrown. Big time for TVD. Rushing was 77. Got to give credit to that Texas A&M Aggies defensive line. Rushing attempts, 24. Yards per rush, 3.2. And penalties, 10 for 115. Okay, so real quick. We did have some self-inflicted wounds in that game, but I also will say the officiating was not good at all. And I was at the game and I saw, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Because I don't like complaining about the refs, but a lot of these penalties that were on us for the games, a lot of them were BS. And I know that's me being selfish, but I'm just saying, man. Pretty bad. But anyways, turnovers 1, fumbles lost 1, 0 interceptions thrown. Time possession 27 minutes and 43 seconds. Moving on to individual stats. Texas A&M, Connor Wegman was 31 of 53 for 336 yards, 6.3 average, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His QBR was 83.5. For the Miami Hurricanes, Tyler Van Dyke, aka TVD, 21 of 30 for 374 yards, 12.5 average, and he didn't have just 1 touchdown. He didn't have 2, he didn't have 3, he didn't have 4, but he had 5. He had 5 touchdowns, and his QBR was 94.6. Absolutely insane. Big time game for Tyler Van Dyke. Rushing wise for Texas A&M, Amari Daniels had 18 carries for 62 yards. His average was 3.4. 1 touchdown, his long was 14. Connor Wegman had 5 carries for 29 yards, 5.8 average, 1 touchdown, his long was 13. Ruben Owens had 5 carries for 7 yards, 1.4 average, 0 touchdown, his long was 4. For the Canes, in rushing, Henry Parrish Jr. had 10 carries for 50 yards, 5.0 average, 0 touchdowns, and had a long of 18. A.J. Allen, the transfer out of Nebraska, had 5 carries for 22 yards, 4.4 average, 0 touchdowns, 13 was his long. Donald Chaney Jr. had 3 carries for 11 yards, 3.7 average, 0 touchdowns, his long was 5. Mark Fletcher Jr., who did end up getting injured in the game and got a little nicked up in the game. He did end up going to the medical tent in that game. Hopefully he's okay, and hopefully we see him back on the field soon. But he had 4 carries in that game, 6 yards, 1.5 average, 0 touchdowns, and his long was 4. Moving on to receiving, Texas A&M, Evan Stewart had 11 receptions for 142 yards, 12.9 average, 0 touchdowns. His long was 44. Noah Thompson had 4 receptions for 38 yards, 9.5 average, 1 touchdown. His long was 16. Ruben Owens had 3 receptions for 35 yards, 11.7 average, 0 touchdowns. His long was 44. Anais Smith had 3 receptions for 27 yards, 9.0 average, 0 touchdowns. His long was 20. Jake Johnson had 3 receptions for 22, 7.3 yards, 0 touchdowns, and his long was 10. Amari Daniels had 4 receptions for 20 yards, 5.0 average, 0 touchdowns. His long was 9. Ernest had 1 reception for 19 yards, 19-point average, 1 touchdown, and his long was 19. Max Wright had 1 reception for 18 yards, 18.0 average, 0 touchdown. His long was 18. Moose Muhammad III had 1 reception for 15 yards, 15.0 average, 0 touchdown. His long was 15. For receiving for the Canes, my boy got the hat on today. XR7, aka Xavier Restrepo. 6 receptions for 126 yards. Big time game for Restrepo. 21.0 average, 0 touchdown. His long was 48. Jacoby George had 5 receptions for 94 yards, 18.8 average, 3 touchdowns. Could have had 4, but he got 3. His long was 64. Kobe Young had 6 receptions for 75 yards, 12.5 average, 1 touchdown. His long was 32. Isaiah Horton had 1 reception for 52 yards. His average was 52. 1 touchdown. His long was 52. Cam McCormick, the tight end, had 1 reception for 20 yards, 20.0 average, 0 touchdown. His long was 20. And Henry Parrish Jr., 2 receptions for 7 yards, 3.5 average, 0 touchdown. His long was 8. Fumbles. Texas A&M had 1 and had 1 fumble, 1 loss, and I think 1 returned. No, they did have 1 return. That was a muff punt by Xavier Restrepo in, I believe, the second quarter. So that is 1 negative. That was a bad special teams play by Xavier Restrepo, and then early in the beginning of the game, the Canes ended up stalling out on offense, and Texas A&M did end up blocking Dylan Joyce's punt and got in a great field position and ended up scoring the first touchdown again. So special teams started off pretty bad in that game. But moving on for the Canes, Jacoby George had 1 fumble, 1 loss. Tyler Van Dyke had 1 fumble. Cameron Kitchens had 1 interception in the game. And going back to special teams, big time play from Bashard Smith had a 98-yard kickoff return to the house for a touchdown. And what a block by Xavier Restrepo. And that was a really, really nice response from the special teams coming out in the second half. So, big time. Defensively for Texas A&M, his name is York, had 7 total tackles, 3 solo. Edrin Cooper had 6 total tackles, 3 solo, 1 tackle for loss. Damani Richardson had 5 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for loss. Josh Dewberry had 3 total tackles, 1 solo. Bryce Anderson had 2 total tackles, 1 solo. Shamar Stewart did play in this game, had 1 total tackle, 1 solo, and 1 sack and 1 tackle for loss. And those are just to name a few players on Texas A&M's defense. As a team, they had 47 total tackles, 33 solo, 2 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, 4 pass deflections, and 0 touchdowns. For the Canes, James Williams had 9 total tackles, 5 solos. Jaden Davis had a hell of a game. Same thing with James Williams as well. Had 8 total tackles, 6 solos, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 pass deflection, and he had a big time fumble. Yeah, he caused a fumble late in the game, which was big time from him. Cameron Kitchens had 7 total tackles, 3 solo, and a lone interception. Corey Flagg Jr. had 6 total tackles, 3 solos, and 1 tackle for loss. Francisco Maugoa, also Kiko, 6 total tackles, 3 solo. Darrell Pollard Jr. 5 total tackles, 3 solo. Corey Couch, 4 total tackles, 3 solo, and had a game-sealing interception late in the game. And those are just to name a few for you guys. As a team, 66 total tackles, 40 solo, 0 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and 2 pass deflections. As I mentioned earlier, Cameron Kitchens had an interception, and then Corey Couch had an interception. Cameron Kitchens returned back the interception for 28 yards, and then Corey Couch returned it back for 2 yards. And as a team, 2 interceptions for 30 yards. Ruben Owens, in terms of kick returns for Texas A&M, had 3 for 61 yards, averaged 20.3, his long was 29. David Bailey had 1 return for 7 yards, 7.0 average, his long was 7. As a team, they had 4 returns for 68 yards, 17.0 average, and 29 was the long. In terms of kick return for the Canes, Rashard Smith had 1 for 98 yards. The average was 98, the long was 98, and the touchdown was 1. Big time special teams play from the Canes. Restrepo had 1 for 9 yards, 9.0 average. His long was 9. Michael Redding III had 1, 3 yards, 3.0 average. And as a team, in terms of Miami kick returns, had 3 for 110 yards, 36.7 average, and the long was 98. That's from Rashard Smith. And again, can't forget about that block by Xavier Restrepo. Big time block for him, and had 1 touchdown. Anaya Smith, in terms of punt returns, this is for Texas A&M, had 1 for 2 yards, 2.0 average, and the long was 2. Jacoby George, the Canes, in terms of punt returns, had 1 for 2 yards, 2.0 average, and the long was 2. Kicking for Texas A&M, Randy Bond was 2 or 3 for field goals. The percentage was 66.7. His long was 28. He was 3 for 3 on extra points and a total of 9. Andy Borregales, 2 or 3 on field goals. This is for the Kings. 66.7 percentage. His long was 50. Extra points, he was 6 to 6 and averaged 12 points. Punting, Nick Constantino had 3 punts for 128 yards. 42.7 average, touchback 0, inside the 20, 1, long was 51. For the Canes punting, Dylan Joyce had 2 for 96 yards, 48.0 average, touchbacks 0, 2 times inside the 20, his long was 51. As a team, 3 for 96 yards, 32.0 average, 0, 2 times inside the 20, like I said, his long was 51. So those are your team stats and individual stats, and now just my overall thoughts on the game. Like I said, this was a big time win for this program, a big time win for this coaching staff, a big time confidence booster for this team, and just a big time signature win for Mario Cristobal. And we did start off the game a little rusty. Block punt gave Texas A&M good field position, then muff punt by Xavier Restrepo, which is like deja vu because that's what happened last year. Gifted them like 17 points. And then, I think the biggest takeaway from this game is that we could have quit and just laid down and just let Texas A&M run all over us. We didn't. We fought through adversity. Offensive players were picking each other up. Defensive players were picking each other up. Defense players were picking up the offense. Offensive players were picking up the defense. We just kept on fighting through adversity, even through the penalties and all that stuff. And, injuries, like I said, Mark Fletcher, and then you had Francis D, another player that also did get injured, besides Cam Kitchens, which Cam Kitchens' injury late in the game. There was like a minute and 48 seconds to go left in the fourth quarter. Good, guys. He's okay. His mom posted an Instagram story on her Instagram, I think a couple hours after the game. And then he tweeted, I think today or yesterday, thanking the fans for all the love and prayers and wishes. And he's okay, guys. He's going to be more than just fine. But, overall, just a big time win, a much needed win. Like I said, we haven't won against an SEC team in like a decade, and I believe we are 6-1 at home against, I think, ranked opponents since 2017, which is huge. Yeah, man. I mean, overall, guys, just a big time win for the Canes. Now, I believe we got ranked today. We are now the number 22 team in the country. Hopefully we could build off that. I also did want to talk a little bit about this game coming up this Thursday. This is up against Bethune Cookman. I would say my only concerns about going into that game is, where we're at from a health standpoint, and how banged up are our guys, and how are we gonna look after such a big game. There are, I would say there are some question marks, there, but I think we're gonna be more than just fine because this is a team that we did play last year in the beginning of the season. I think the score was like 70-13, I believe, last year. So this is a team that doesn't worry me, but this is a team that we should, and keyword, should take care of business against. My biggest concern is walking away from that game hopefully healthy, we don't lose any more players. But yeah, and I would definitely like to see the young guys get some reps in this game and see how they do as well. But yeah, man, that's just my overall thoughts on heading into this game, and yeah, I think we take care of business easily against Bethune Cookman. No offense to Bethune Cookman. I just think we are the better team from a talent standpoint. And this is a team that we should take care of business. Just my honest opinion. Anyways, guys and gals, that's my overall thoughts on the Miami Hurricanes and the Texas A&M game. Hope you all liked it. Please give a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't enjoy the video. Appreciate y'all listening to me rant for about almost 19 going on, yeah, almost 19 minutes now. Gonna be probably going on 20 minutes here, the video here soon. So yeah, like I said, thumbs up, thumbs down if you didn't like the video. Hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications for future content. And yeah, guys, that's about it. And smiles all around. Big time win with the Canes. And stay tuned for the next video coming out soon. I got to do a video on the Miami Dolphins getting the dub against the Chargers. Big time game and big time win for the Dolphins. As y'all know, former Miami Hurricanes Jalen Phillips got the game-winning sack, so that definitely made me happy. Stay tuned for that and other future videos coming your way. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.